In the United States, May 1st, 2011. It's not a normal day for most people in the US, but what they don't know is that at 1:50 p.m. Eastern Daytime, President Barack Obama and a few other top officials in the country approved the creation of Operation Neptune Spear, the operation that killed the most famous and most targeted terrorist in modern times, Osama bin Laden. In this video, we will talk about what happened to the mission. There are many members of the Operation Neptune Spear team, including 79 commandos, my interpreter pilots, intel agents, and tech experts. There is also a team of dogs, including a Belgian Malinois named Cairo. Cairo has a handler, and he will be placed outside the compound to watch out for any running or approaching Pakistani authorities. The 24 members of SEAL Team 6 will be involved in the assassination, and he will be looking for and killing bin Laden. 1:51 p.m. on Eastern Daytime, Black Hawk SEAL helicopters took off and will be working on a mission. It has stealth features so that they won't easily see enemies when they fly. It was just on standby in Afghanistan and is waiting for mission approval to prevent the group from traveling far away. The SEAL Team 6 members have gone on a trip. It was around 3:30 a.m. In Pakistan, it was a very easy day because of the change in the time zone between the US and Pakistan. The 2 helicopters carrying SEALs are now placed above the compound. The helicopters immediately lowered their wings to lower the SEALs. The SEALs were successfully lowered in one helicopter, but one of them had a problem. The problem is that, because of the high temperatures, there was an air vortex that made him out of balance in a helicopter. Pilot had a hard time controlling it, and he even hit bin Laden's back in the compound. The pilot took the helicopter out of the perimeter of the compound and placed the front of the helicopter on the ground to force it to land without any loud noise. The SEALs that were in the helicopter immediately came out and climbed into the compound while others were waiting for them. Others were just standing by, ready to respond if there was an emergency, while the dog Cairo, along with its handler, was in the far east of the compound and ready to make noise if it saw people approaching. Not long after, the SEAL team party inside, and the assassination began. 3:33 a.m., using portable explosives, the group shot down the 3 doors of a 3-story house inside the compound. When they entered, they immediately encountered the 2 men and their bodyguards. As they advanced, the group noticed that there were many children inside the house. They then realized that the members of Al-Qaeda were not the only ones in the compound. Their families also stayed here. The SEALs arrived on the 2nd floor and immediately surrounded the enemies. They easily dispatched and neutralized them, and the courier Ibrahim said, or what they call the Al-Qaeda terrorist group, was among them. The group killed the courier because he shot and injured a member of Team 6. This is what Mark Bezenet, one of the SEAL Team 6, said when he killed bin Laden and wrote a book about it. However, according to some sources, this is not true. Al-Qaeda did not fight, and it did not bring any weapons when they met, especially since the surroundings were too dark because of the turn-off of the SEALs in the house's power source. Ibrahim was killed with no weapon. Which of the 2 versions of the story do you think is true? Comment below. 3:37 a.m. when they went up to the 3rd floor, the 2 opposing groups met again. They immediately exchanged fire, but the SEALs hit the enemy first. They were about to kill him when they noticed a familiar look on their faces. He is a member of Al-Qaeda. That's when he realized that was bin Laden's son, Hamza bin Laden. There is a high possibility that bin Laden is also inside. 3:39 a.m. The group was about to reach the 3rd floor, and as they climbed up, they saw the person they had been looking for a decade. They saw bin Laden's head when he looked out the window of his room. He didn't have any weapons, and he was wearing a tunic and shorts, pajamas that he always wears when he releases a video. The group was about to be shot. Bin Laden was hit, but he was still in his room. The group was already on the 3rd floor, and they were slowly approaching bin Laden's room. Many women were watching him, but they didn't have any weapons. Some of them were bin Laden's wives, while the others were his relatives. One of his wives, Emil Ahmed, acted as if he was going to attack the SEALs. That's why the lead SEAL shot its foot. When the group was in front of the room, they saw bin Laden hiding behind a woman. According to Robert J. O'Neill, one of the SEALs involved in the operation, bin Laden was standing behind the woman, and while bin Laden was holding her back, the woman was being pushed. That's when he saw the opening, and he immediately shot bin Laden in the face twice. When he hit the Al-Qaeda leader, like other mission details, the account of Bizanet is different in his room. According to him, bin Laden is already weak from the wounds he received when he was shot while looking out of the window. When the group entered the room, bin Laden was lying on the floor with his other wife. The lead SEAL pushed the woman to neutralize her. If he was carrying explosives, they knew that terrorists love explosives. That's why the group was careful. When they got close, they shot bin Laden with several rounds. This story was supported by other SEAL members in the operation. That's why many believed it. 3:53 a.m., Barack Obama received a preliminary signal. Bin Laden was identified and killed. 3:55 a.m., bin Laden's body was immediately taken by the SEALs. He was buried on the first floor and placed in a body bag. 3:59 a.m., the group searched the entire compound, and they took some important items that they could use for their intelligence investigation. They also searched bin Laden's room, and there they saw an assault rifle and a pistol. Those are possible weapons of the Al-Qaeda leader. There are still civilians left in the compound. These are the civilians without weapons. While the group is finishing the mission, at 4:05 a.m., the first helicopter took off. With half of the SEALs in the compound, the second helicopter couldn't make it. Unfortunately, that's why the other SEALs will wait. 4:08 a.m. in the morning, the group burned the broken helicopter. They can't leave it because the Pakistanis will see it, and they will know that the kind of technology that the helicopter has makes it possible for the Pakistanis to use it for their own advantage. That's why the group made sure that there was no one left in the broken helicopter. 4:10 a.m., the backup Black Hawk arrived, and they took the remaining SEALs into the compound to make sure that they were safe. 5:53 a.m., after more than half an hour of travel, the group landed at Bagram airfields in Afghanistan, and they were saved from their mission. Around 7:01 p.m. in the United States, President Obama received intelligence information. The confirmation that bin Laden is the public enemy number one and the leader of Al-Qaeda was dead. But the biggest question for the people watching is, if it was bin Laden, then who killed them? It needs to be confirmed. Bin Laden has already escaped several manhunt operations for his own safety. He also has a lot of body doubles. That usually saves lives to escape the leader. But in this incident, the SEALs were sure of their target, and they succeeded. 11:35 p.m., President Obama addressed the country and gave a speech. The people were surprised when the president suddenly addressed, but they were more surprised when Obama reported SEAL Team 6 killed bin Laden. For a long time, no news was heard from the public about the terrorist attack. However, there were still many who defended the group, especially the families of the victims of the terrorist attacks by bin Laden. Let's go back to Pakistan. Around 12:59 p.m., there was another group that needed to do something for bin Laden. They needed to bury him. Bin Laden had many radical followers. Many were angry at what the US did. So the US followed Islamic law, where he had to bury his body within 24 hours from his death. But they had a problem. There was no cemetery that wanted to accept bin Laden's body. They were afraid that there would be an Al-Qaeda pilgrimage there and a radical action. That's why the US buried bin Laden's body in the USS Carl Vinson and buried it in the northern Arabian Sea. It was a great success, not only for the Americans but also for other victims of his terrorist attacks, for the thousands who died. In 9/11 attack,